Result of daily respect. If you want to manage your money like the 1 ton, this is where it starts. Not with more income, not with new tricks, but with deep personal respect. For every dollar, for every decision, for the future you're building. That's the foundation. And once you get that right, everything else becomes easier. Chapter 3. Make your income grow without working more hours. You don't get ahead in life just by working longer hours. You get ahead by working smarter, thinking differently, and building systems that grow without your constant effort. The one understand this early. They know that time is limited, but ideas are not. They know that income tied directly to hours is a trap if you don't evolve beyond it, and they know that to multiply their income, they need to disconnect their money from their physical presence. That means learning how to earn even when they're not working. The first shift you must make is this. Stop thinking that working more is the only way to earn more. That's the mindset most people carry. They say, if I want more money, I need to work more hours. But that belief keeps you locked in a cycle. Because no matter how many hours you work, you still only have so many. And if your income is limited by time, then your potential is capped. The one don't accept that. They look for leverage. They look for results that come from systems, not sweat. Start looking at your skills through a different lens. What can you do that brings value to others? What have you learned over the years that someone else would gladly pay to understand faster? Your experience, your lessons, your talents, these are your income builders. Most people overlook them because they think only big, flashy ideas create wealth. But the truth is, everyday skills turned into products, services, or scalable offerings can grow income beyond anything you do at a 9-to-5 job. Think about it this way. If you can solve a problem for someone once and they pay you for it, that's good. But if you can turn that solution into something that works again and again without your time attached to each transaction, you just built leverage. That could be a digital product, an online course, a service with a team or a system that earns while you sleep. This isn't fantasy, it's strategy. The people who break out financially are the ones who stop exchanging time and start creating value at scale. You need to become a creator of income, not just an earner of income. Earning means showing up and getting paid. Creating means building something that keeps working after you walk away. That's the difference between those who stay stuck and those who rise. You don't have to be a genius. You just need to be intentional. What do people ask your help with? What problems do you solve easily that others struggle with? What could you build once that others would pay to access regularly? You can also grow your income by using money the right way. Every dollar you save can be turned into a worker. You don't have to keep doing everything yourself. You can invest. You can put money into things that grow without your involvement. You can buy assets that pay you. That might be stocks, index funds, real estate, or small business ideas, whatever fits your level of understanding and risk. The key is to stop letting your money sit and start letting it work. But to do that, you have to stop spending everything you are. If all your money goes toward your lifestyle, there's nothing left to grow. The 1% don't just live below their means. They reinvest the gap. They use that gap to create more opportunity. While most people upgrade their car or take another vacation with every raise, the one buy time, buy assets, buy control, that's how they escape the grind. Not overnight, slowly, quietly, consistently. You also need to think about skill stacking. You don't have to be the best in the world at one thing. But if you combine a few solid skills, you become valuable in ways others aren't. Maybe you're decent at writing and also good at sales, or maybe you understand tech and also have a creative eye. These combinations can open doors. They can lead to freelance work, consulting, side projects, or your own business. The more useful you become, the more income opportunities you unlock without working more hours. Automation is another game changer. The one automate what drains their time, from bill payments to content distribution to client onboarding. They build systems that remove daily decisions. This frees up their mind for bigger moves. If you spend all your time on low-value tasks, you'll never break through. But if you automate the small stuff and focus your energy on high-value creation, your income naturally starts rising. You stop feeling busy and start becoming productive in ways that actually move the needle. Another area where people miss out is pricing. They undervalue themselves. They charge too little. They're afraid to ask for more. But here's the truth. If you want to grow your income, You must raise your standards. You must deliver more value and charge accordingly. You must understand your worth in the marketplace and stop settling for scraps. This is not arrogant. This is accuracy. If you know what you bring to the table, price it with confidence. The one don't compete on being the cheapest. They compete on being the most effective. You also need to surround yourself with people who think bigger. If everyone around you believes more hours equal more money, that thinking will infect you. But if you spend time with people who talk about systems, investment scale, and ownership, you'll start seeing new paths. Your environment either limits or expands you. Choose it wisely. Join groups. Read books. Follow people who've done what you want to do. Their mindset will challenge yours, and that's a good thing. Track your progress. This part matters. Set income goals not just for how much, but for how it's earned. Is it passive or active? Is it scalable or limited? Is it stressful or energizing? Income is not just about the number, it's about the freedom. It gives you more hours, won't give you freedom, but smarter systems will so measure the quality of your income, not just the quantity. You also need to build patient income growth. Without working more hours doesn't happen in a week. It takes time to set up, time to learn, time to fail, and adjust. But once it's working, the payoff is massive. You don't have to grind forever. You build it once, and it starts producing again and again. Maybe it's slow at first. 10 here, 50. But that proves it works. Then you optimize, then you scale, then you watch it grow. Don't fall into the trap of always being busy. Busyness is not success. It's often avoidance. It feels productive, but it's usually reactive. Step back and ask, where is my time going? What am I creating that lasts beyond today? If you're just surviving each day, you'll stay in survival mode. But if you carve time to build, to think, to design systems, you move toward wealth. You have more options than you realize. We live in a world where technology, platforms, and tools allow anyone to earn in multiple ways. You can teach what you know, you can build something useful, you can partner with others, you can license your skills. The question is not, can, the question is, will I take it seriously enough to start? Don't wait for perfect timing. Start small. Start with what you know. Build something simple. That helps one person, then help 2, then 10. The compound effect is real, and once it starts working, you stop depending on longer hours, you start depending on smarter choices. Growing your income without adding hours is about choices, it's about priorities, it's about seeing yourself as more than just a worker. You're a builder, a designer, a create. When you act like it, everything changes. You stop feeling trapped. You stop feeling tired. You start feeling powerful, because now your income grows, even when you rest, even when you think, even when you sleep. That's not a dream. That's the reward of doing it right. That's how the one operate. And that's what's waiting for you. Not someday, but the moment you stop working harder and start building smarter. Chapter 4. Break your habit of spending to feel better. Spending to feel better is one of the most common traps people fall into. And it's one of the most dangerous habits for your financial future. You don't fix emotions with purchases. You don't solve stress with stuff. But many people do it anyway because it gives them a quick feeling of relief. A short-lived high, a moment of distraction, and that moment becomes addictive. It becomes part of how they cope. When they're sad, they shop. When they're bored, they spend. When they're insecure, they buy something that makes them feel important. But the feeling never lasts. Exhausting. It's empty. And worst of all, it keeps you from building anything real. It distracts you from what matters. Because the more you chase image, the more you lose control. Your decisions become about appearances instead of values. And when that happens, your financial life becomes a show, not a strategy. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. Not with your car, not with your clothes, not with your phone, not with how big your house is or where you vacation. None of that brings lasting respect. People might notice for a moment, but they move on quickly, and when they do, you're left holding the bill, the payment, the stress, the regret. All for a moment of attention that didn't build you up. It broke you down. This habit is rooted in insecurity. When you're not confident in who you are, you try to buy confidence. You try to create it through what people see. You say, look at my life, hoping they'll admire it. But deep down you know it's a performance. That's why it never feels good for long. That's why the high doesn't last. Because approval that's based on stuff is shallow, it fades quickly, and you're stuck needing the next thing and the next and the next. It becomes a cycle, not of growth, but of validation. You have to ask yourself who you're really trying to impress. Is it strangers online? Is it friends who are doing the same thing? Is it family members who once doubted you? Most of the time, the people you're trying to impress aren't thinking about you at all. They're too busy worrying about their own lives. That's the truth. Most people are not watching your every move. You are not being judged the way you think you are, and the sooner you realize that, the sooner you can stop living for other people's reactions. Real peace comes from living according to your values, not their expectations. Real wealth is built quietly, not for show. The one don't waste money proving they have money they don't need to. They're focused on freedom, not attention. They care about assets, not applause. They don't buy things to be noticed. They buy things to make life easier, smarter, more efficient, and often they don't buy at all. They wait. They think they move with purpose, not pressure. If you want to build financial strength, you have to let go of the need to be seen as successful, because most people who look successful are faking it. They're leasing the car. They're drowning in debt. They're living paycheck to paycheck behind the scenes. Don't copy a life you wouldn't trade places with when the lights go off. Don't follow someone's lifestyle if you wouldn't want their stress. Your life is yours. You don't owe anyone a show. You don't have to keep up with anyone. Your clothes don't define you. Your phone doesn't define you. Your apartment doesn't define you. Your job title doesn't define you. Who you are, how you live, how you treat others, how you spend your time, that's what matters. That's what builds self-respect. And the stronger your self-respect is, the less you'll feel the need to prove anything to anyone. Stop letting social pressure shape your spending. Just because everyone around you is upgrading doesn't mean you should. Just because they're posting about it doesn't mean it's wise. Just because someone has something doesn't mean they're happy. Half the people posting about success are deeply stressed behind the scenes. They're living for reactions, not results. Don't let their noise become your standard. Build a financial life that gives you peace, not performance. Choose clothes that are comfortable and clean, not just expensive. Choose a car that's reliable and affordable, not flashy. Choose a phone that does what you need, not what everyone else wants. Choose to live below your means, even when you could spend more. That's power. That's control. That's how real wealth begins. Take time to define what success means to you, not what you were told, not what others expect, but what actually matters to you. Is it time freedom? Is it zero debt? Is it being able to help your family? Is it waking up without financial stress? These are the things worth building. These are the wins that matter. When you know what matters, you stop wasting money chasing things that don't. Challenge yourself to go a month without buying anything just to impress someone. Notice the difference in how you feel. Notice how much money you keep. Notice how much pressure lifts when you're not trying to perform for others. That pressure, it's been draining you. It's been pulling you away from your real goals. The moment you stop feeding it, you take your power back. Focus on investments, not image. Image fades. Investments grow. Put your money where it matters. Into your emergency fund, into your future, into your skills, into something that gives you returns, not reactions. Because reactions don't build wealth. Applause doesn't create security, but smart money moves to quiet money decisions. Build loud results later, but you have to be patient and you have to be focused. Stop explaining your choices. You don't need to justify living simply. You don't need to explain why you didn't buy the latest thing. Your goals don't need permission. Your peace doesn't need validation. You're allowed to live on your own terms, even if others don't understand. And often, the people who mock your discipline now will envy your freedom later. Stay focused. Think long-term. What matters more? Their approval today, or your freedom 5 years from now? What matters more? A new phone every year, or being debt-free for life? What matters more? Weekend shopping sprees, or waking up with no financial anxiety? You know the answer, but you need to act on it. You need to choose the future you want over the attention you don't need. Teach yourself to be proud of simple living, proud of discipline, proud of walking away from trends. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. That's strength. That's maturity. And the more you walk that path, the stronger you become, not just financially, but mentally. You stop being swayed by opinions. You start leading yourself. That's real confidence. Pay attention to your triggers. What makes you want to buy to impress? Is it scrolling on social media? Is it being around certain people? Is it boredom? Recognize the pattern. Interrupt it. Replace it. If social media feeds comparison, take a break. If certain environments pressure you, step away. You don't need to prove yourself in places that don't care about your real growth. Choose people who don't care what you wear, what you drive, or how much your shoes cost. Choose people who care about your character, your values, your consistency. Those are the people who last, and those are the people you can be real with. You'll never feel free if you surround yourself with people who judge based on status. Build a circle that respects who you are, not what you have. Track the money you've spent trying to impress others. Add it up. See how much has gone toward things that didn't matter weeks later. Let that number wake you up. Let it remind you of what you could have built instead. It's not about guilt. It's about awareness. You can't change what you don't acknowledge. And once you see the truth, you can start making better decisions. Be patient with yourself. If this habit has been part of your life for years, it won't vanish overnight. But it can change. You can change one choice at a time, one smarter decision after another. And over time, the pressure to impress fades. It's replaced by pride in how you're living, calm in how you're building, and clarity in where you're going. Every time you choose peace over performance, you grow. Every time you choose purpose over pressure, you win. Every time you walk away from something that doesn't serve your goals, you prove to yourself that you're not controlled by opinions. That's freedom, and that's how the one live. Not for others, but for their own growth. You don't need to be noticed to be successful. You don't need to be loud to be strong. You just need to be clear, consistent, and committed to building a life that reflects your real values. That's how you win quietly, powerfully, on your terms. That's how you stop buying things just to impress and start building a life that actually means something. Chapter 7. Use money to build freedom, not fake happiness. Money is a tool, that's all it is. But how you use that tool shapes your entire life. Most people use money to chase a feeling. They try to buy excitement, comfort, admiration, entertainment, distraction. They use it to escape the parts of life they don't want to face. And for a moment, they think rich people are lucky or born into it or just different. So they never study it. They never observe it. They never copy it. They keep living the same way, hoping one day things will change. But things don't change just because you want them to. They change when you start doing what works. And the people who win financially are doing things you're not doing yet. Getting serious about learning how rich people operate means treating wealth like a skill, not an accident. It means dropping the excuses. You can't keep saying money is evil or rich people are selfish. Those beliefs keep you broke. They keep you stuck in a mindset that pushes wealth away instead of attracting it. Rich people are not better than you. They're just more educated about money. They've made different choices. They've paid attention longer. They've built patterns that produce results. And if you want those results, you need to study the patterns. Look at how they spend their time. Rich people value learning. They read. They study markets. They research trends. They take courses. They hire coaches. They ask questions. They don't assume they know everything. They invest in knowing more. They surround themselves with people who know more. They treat knowledge like capital because it is. What you know affects every decision you make, every investment, every risk, every dollar spent. And when you know better, you do better. Start paying attention to what rich people read, what they talk about, what they track. They don't just watch entertainment all day. They don't scroll through distractions for hours. They focus on growth. They focus on data. They learn how business works, how money moves, how wealth is built and protected. They take that seriously because they know information compounds just like money does. The more you learn, the sharper you become, and sharp minds make sharp decisions. Study how they use their money. Rich people don't just make more. They manage better. They give every dollar a job. They invest early. They automate systems. They protect their income. They live below their means longer than necessary. They value control over image. They delay gratification. They don't spend to look successful. They spend to create leverage. That's a mindset shift most people never make. They think earning more will fix everything. But if you don't learn how to manage money, earning more will just multiply your mistakes. Watch how they build multiple streams of income. Rich people rarely depend on one paycheck. They create income from investments, businesses, assets, royalties, partnerships. They build things that pay them long after the work is done. And they start small. They test. They adjust. They scale. They don't wait until it's perfect. They take action. And they learn from results. If you're depending on one job to fund your entire life, you're always one decision away from disaster. Wealthy people don't take that risk. They build layers, safety nets, long-term plays, observe their mindset around failure. Rich people don't run from failure. They expect it. They see it as feedback. They learn faster because they're willing to mess up, then adjust and move forward. Most people avoid failure so much that they never take real action. But action is how you learn. You won't figure everything out by reading alone. You've got to move, experiment, build something, fall, stand up, improve. The ones who build wealth long-term are the ones who can take a hit and keep going. Notice how they protect their time. Rich people don't waste hours on things that don't move their life forward. They're intentional with who they talk to, what they consume, where they go, how they spend their energy. They say no often. They focus hard. They keep distractions out. That discipline creates space for thinking, planning, building. Without that, everything becomes noise. And when you live in noise, you can't hear your next move. You can't see your path clearly. Learning from rich people means studying how they create space to lead themselves. Lead themselves. Take a deeper look at how they view money emotionally. Rich people don't fear money. They don't worship it either. They respect it. They treat it as a tool. They separate emotion from decision. They don't spend because they're sad or bored or pressured. They spend because it fits the plan, because it creates a return, because it aligns with their long strategy. That kind of clarity doesn't happen by accident. It's learned, practiced, repeated, and you can do the same if you take it seriously enough to study it. Don't get distracted by surface-level advice. Look deeper. Look at what's behind the advice. What habits built it? What beliefs shaped it? What principles drive it? Rich people follow systems. They build habits. They track progress. They reflect often. They don't live on luck. They live by design. And everything they do has a reason behind it. That's what you need to understand. The why behind their choices. Once you understand that, you can start making your own powerful choices. Not just copying what they do, but adopting how they think. Build your personal education plan. Don't wait for school. Don't wait for someone to tell you what to learn. Create your own path. Study books on wealth. Learn about investing. Understand cash flow. Study taxes. Watch how markets move. Ask people who are ahead of you what they wish they'd known earlier. Be curious. Be relentless. Don't settle for surface knowledge. Go deep. Break it down. Connect the dots. And most of all, apply what you learn, because knowledge without action is just noise. Get around people who live different. If everyone around you thinks budgeting is boring, saving is impossible, investing is risky, and rich people are greedy, you need new voices. You need mentors, not just friends. You need builders, not just talkers. You need examples, not just opinions. Because who you spend time with shapes what you believe is normal. And if you want to grow, you need a new normal. One where wealth building isn't strange. It's expected. Don't wait until you're earning more to start learning more. Learn now. The habits you build today decide what happens when more money does come. Most people think their financial problems are because they don't make enough. But when they finally earn more, nothing changes, because the problem wasn't income. It was ignorance. It was lack of structure, lack of discipline, lack of knowledge. Fix that. Now study, now apply, now. That's how you make the most of every raise, every opportunity, every increase. Take notes. Keep a journal of what you're learning. Write down insights, lessons, strategies. Track what working, review. What did make your growth visible? When you treat learning like a mission, you start seeing everything differently. You stop feeling stuck. You start seeing doors. You stop blaming others. You start building systems. That's the difference between people who wish for wealth and people who work for it. Be obsessed with improving, not in a frantic way, in a focused way. One new insight a day, one smarter choice a week, one mistake analyzed and corrected. That's how the one think. That's how they operate. They live in growth, they live in clarity, and they never stop learning, not when they're broke, not when they're comfortable, not even when they're rich, because they know wealth isn't just something you get, it's something you maintain, and maintenance requires learning that never stops. You don't need permission to study well. You don't need to wait until you're older, smarter, or more experienced. You can start now, right where you are, with what you have. You can get serious today, not someday, not when it's urgent, now, because the sooner you learn, the faster you grow, and the faster you grow, the more opportunities you create. That's how wealth begins, not with a check, but with a mindset. This is the difference between staying where you are and stepping into who you're meant to become. It's not magic, it's not mystery, it's discipline. And the first discipline is learning what works from people who have already done it. Stop assuming, start studying, stop guessing, start applying, get serious about learning what rich people do, and soon you'll stop wondering how they got there. You'll start living what they've lived, because you'll finally understand what it takes. And more importantly, you'll be willing to do it. Chapter 10. Act rich by making smart money moves. Daily. You don't have to be rich to start acting like someone who is. In fact, most people who become rich did so because they built the habit of making smart money moves every single day, long before they had wealth. Acting rich isn't about faking success. It's not about showing off, spending big, or pretending you have more than you do. It's about thinking wisely, deciding with clarity, and treating your financial future